All right. I think we're going now. I think we're live now, so I'm going to get going. We'll get into get some disclaimers out of the way, then we'll get into it. So this is a weekly live broadcast, pretty much every Thursday evening at 7 o'clock Central. This is where I'm at. I do a pretty good job of responding to all the chat that comes in during the live chat itself. If you have questions or something you need answered, this is a pretty good place to get it done. Usually, we can talk about anything I want to talk about. I don't have a topic planned out. I just let the chat kind of drive how the video is going to go, or how the broadcast is going to go, I should say. And the only things I ask is be polite, be family friendly. Don't start cussing at us. Don't call anybody names. Don't be hateful with anybody. We can all get along. Even if we do disagree on things, it's okay. We can still get along. We don't have to hate each other for a disagreement. So let's get into it. We got Double L Homestead here, says, Chris, I have a question and cannot be in the live chat. I'm busy Thursday, but you know when or if KC Quail Farm is opening back up. I don't know. I haven't actually talked to him in a while. I need to reach out to him and find out. I heard some reason that they were closed down, so that may be a permanent thing. I really don't know. I'm sorry, I can't answer that one for you. I wish I could. Ed got bait. Good to see you, Ed. Hopefully you're doing well. I heard you had some health issues there. Couldn't make it to QuailCon. He says, hey, Chris, hope you had a good time at QuailCon. We did. We had a good time. Missed you. We talked about you a little bit. Saw some of your jewelry that you had out there for sale. Looked pretty nice, but missed seeing you. Hopefully next year will be a little bit better. We'll get to hang out. Todd says, hey, Chris, was good seeing you at QuailCon. If you get up to Crete, Illinois and want to do some bow hunting, hit me up. Opening day is October 1st. Oh, that'd be awesome. I don't think I can make it up there October 1st, but that would be awesome. I would love to do that. Jammin' Mike from Tennessee, good to see you. Verna says, hey, Chris. Oh, good to see you, by the way, Verna. Says, hey, Chris and everyone. QuailCon was a blast. Always good to see you and many others. I agree it was. Hey, Jesse, good to see you, Jesse. We saw Jesse at QuailCon. He says, good evening to everyone. Kathy, good to see you. Oh, Verna says, one of those Kui is pregnant, huh? Interesting. Scrap 500 says, what's up? Well, it's not exactly what he says, but I paraphrased. Katrina, hello, everyone from Gilroy, California. It was great to meet you at QuailCon. I agree. It was great. Thanks to everyone that went to QuailCon this year. It was a fantastic time. We just had such a good time there. It was great to meet everybody face to face. Now I'm having a hard time remembering which faces go with which YouTube names, but I think I'm keeping it fairly straight. Feathered Connections, good to see you. Says, hey, Chris. See, I do watch your channel. You don't have to watch my channel. I'm not offended if you don't watch my channel. I don't think I accused you of not watching my channel, did I? Maybe I did. I don't know. But that's okay. We're friends enough that I think I can pick on you a little bit. So I was probably just giving you a hard time. All right. What did MZ says? R.I.P. Lizzie. Are you talking about Queen Elizabeth? Yeah, I heard the news on that today. That was sad. But, I'm not British, but still, and I don't really quite understand the whole monarchy thing. But still, she seemed like a really nice lady, a really just well-respected by the people there. And I pray for her family. I pray for the people that are, mourning her loss right now, and for the country that they would recover from that, because I know it is probably a bigger deal than I understand. William and Aliyah, hello to you. Marty says, hey, Chris and everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I am. Hopefully you are too. And let's see, we got a couple people talking to each other. We'll let you. Boris, good to see you. Where are we at here? Jesse's talking to somebody. Emergency Prep Guy says, hey, Chris and everyone. Good to see you too. Hey, there's Dale's Quail here. Says, another successful QuailCon. Was great seeing and hanging out, Chris. Hey, I agree. It was great. We met last year. Dale and I met last year at QuailCon, but I didn't really get a chance to talk to you much, to really hang out with you much. We had a little bit more time this time, and I was really good to get to kind of know you a little bit better. So thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate that. Whiskey Tango Farms is here. Good evening, guys. Good to see you. Says hello to everyone. Feather Connection says it was so fun seeing you at QuailCon, and says, hey, Jesse. I agree. It was a good time. I'm looking for where you guys are not talking to each other, because everybody is. Now, that's okay. It doesn't bother me, but Just trying to get through the comments. Porcupine Acres says, I took your advice and introduced our 2-week-old chicks with the older stock and all went well. I've had really good luck doing that. Taking young birds right out of the brooder, 2-3 weeks old, and throwing them in with my older stock. They just get along just fine, no problems. And then, as they grow up, I can process the older stock and the newer stock becomes the breeders, or just mixes in with them, becomes new breeders right along with the older stock, either way. Let's see. JM Plaster says, can I raise my quail in my garage, and how many quail can I keep in each cage? Yes, you can absolutely raise them in your garage. Lots of people raise them in the garage. The general rule of thumb really, it depends on what kind of cage, what size of cage, as to how many you can keep in it. The general rule of thumb is most people say about 1 bird per square foot, but you can go a little bit denser than that. You can go up to, if you have a wire cage floor where the droppings are going to fall through, you could probably go up to 2, maybe even 3. I think I heard Dale at QuailCon said he keeps 3 birds per square foot in his wire cages. So that's not terribly overcrowded. It just depends on what you want to do. So it depends on how big your cage is as to how many quail you can keep in there. Hopefully that answers the question for you. Mimi says, hey, Chris and everyone, nice to be able to connect faces to names at QuailCon 2022. Great time. I agree. It was a great time. I wish I could remember exactly. I know we met, but I can't put the face to the YouTube name. We should have everybody write their YouTube name on their name tag next time, huh? And let's see, we got people talking to each other. We'll skip over that. Good Rose Urban Homestead. You guys were the ones from Louisiana, right? I believe that. It says, great meeting you this weekend. It was great meeting you too. Thanks for coming up, saying hi, and introducing yourself. I remember you guys because of the name. It was a hard one for me to. Is it Gidros? I can't remember. Can't remember how to pronounce it. All right, let me skip through some things. Sorry, get down. Tony, oh my gosh, that's a hard one too. I'm just going to call you Tony. Tony from Toronto, good to see you. Feather Connection says, I'm Kelly, the one who was hanging with Christine. Yes, you can totally bag. Oh, I know who you are. Says you can totally bag on me. Everyone else teases me. Wouldn't feel like family if they didn't. Yeah, I know who you are. You don't have to tell me. I know who you are. I think you said at QuailCon, you said you were surprised that I knew who you were. I remembered you. And I said, well, you're kind of a big personality. You kind of are a big personality. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. But yeah, I remember who you are. I know who you are. Feathered Connections because of your last name, Connect. I know. Jupiter, good to see you. Says, hey, Chris, sorry I missed the QuailCon. Would have been great to meet you in person. Hope you got a chance to rest. Yeah, I haven't done much resting yet. I got home about 5 o'clock on Monday. Driving, 10 hours on the way back home. Got home about 5 o'clock on Monday, and then it's back to work the next day, and it's been a little hectic, but I haven't got the video. I shot video of QuailCon for you guys. I'm going to post. It may be the weekend before I get that done. It's just so much going on. I haven't had a chance to work on it. Pete says, my quail are not laying any eggs at all. Live in Caribbean at this time. Last year, they were going all out. Even my youngest quail that are 3.5 months old and no eggs. Okay. So my quail stopped laying eggs too while I was gone. And my problem is my quail are molting. And I can tell because I go out there and I look at them and they look all kind of ruffled up and kind of raggedy right now. So that means they're going through a molt. They're going to shut down. If you live in the Caribbean, you probably have plenty of light. That's the main reason. I think that's probably why you said living in the Caribbean. Is it Caribbean or Caribbean? I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. But anyway, you probably have 16 hours or 14 hours a day of light. You need 14 hours a day of light in order for them to lay on a consistent basis. Now here, Southwest Missouri, the days are starting to get shorter, and it's getting pretty close to that time where they're going to stop laying unless I add some extra light to them. So the other things that can really affect your quail keep them from laying, like I said, if they're molting, that's one thing that can do it. Or if they have been through like some kind of big stress factor. And usually that's going to be like if you moved them, like you took them from one hutch, you moved them to another hutch or something like that, that'll cause them to shut down for a couple of weeks and then they'll start back up. So I don't know. I mean, there could be predator pressure if you're getting something that's coming around and really, putting some pressure on the birds, spooking them and causing them to, just be really stressed out. That could do it as well. It's hard for me to know for sure, but those are kind of the most common things. Light being the most common issue, but I don't, like I said, I doubt that's yours unless you're keeping them inside, in which case, they may not have enough light. You may need to bump them out of light up. Yeah, Katrina's got a good answer for you. I didn't even think about that. To who was that to? To J.M. Plester. Let me look back up here. Did I? Yeah, okay. That was the one about, can I raise my quail in the garage? How many can I keep? Yeah, thank you very much for that, Katrina. I forgot to mention the number of males and females. I should have done that. You're right. So, yeah, she's saying, yes, you can keep them in a garage. If you have the cage set up, it's 5 females to 1 male and 3 quail per square foot. You can do the math for your setup. So, yeah, I forgot the part. I didn't even think about mentioning that. That's a good point. 1 male for every 4 to 5 hens. What I usually do is I throw 1 male for every 5 hens and then 1 extra male in the group if I've got a big group. So like I got, say, 20 hens. So that's going to be 4 roosters that I would need for that, 1 for every 5. Am my math right? Yeah, 1 for every 5. And then I'd throw 1 extra in. So I'd have 5 roosters. Do math. Math is hard. Do 5 roosters for that many hens. That way I have 1 extra rooster in there just in case something happens and, one of the hens decides to kill one of the roosters or something like that. I've got an extra one and I'm okay. Brittany says, awesome to meet you at QuailCon. It was pretty cool. You showed my son how to process a quail and caught it on video. Okay, I remember doing that. Yeah, I find it hard to believe that that's his first time. He was pretty good at that. So it was nice to meet you too, though. So thank you guys for, coming by and stopping by and letting us help him. It was a cool experience for me too. Katrina wants to know, how did the bunny travel? Bunny traveled fine. Got her situated in her cage. I did get a new rabbit this weekend. Got a silver fox, pedigree silver fox from Whiskey Tango Farms. So it's situated in the cage, and it's possible I'm going this weekend. I think I'm going to go this weekend to pick up a couple more silver foxes. So we'll be getting the rabbits started up again. It's a little way. The rabbit I got from Whiskey Tango Farms is only like 11 weeks old, so it's a little ways from breeding yet, but we'll get there. Yep, everybody wants to know. I already answered, I guess, that question. Probably, how your rabbit doing? You got at QuailCon. It's doing great. Ben says, question on the best way to butcher rabbits. I mean, killing them. You mean the best way to dispatch them, to actually, there's a lot of different ways to do it. Which way is the best way? I guess just kind of depends on your preference. I've tried like an air rifle, and basically what you make is a cross from, like, looking down at the top of their head, make a cross from one eye to the ear, one eye to the other ear. And when you get that X right in the middle, that's the spot. You just put it right there and, fire the air rifle. And that does okay. I mean, if you live out in the country, you could do that with like a 22. That might be a little bit quicker, to do that. I've used the broomstick method quite a bit, or you can do something modified, which is basically the same thing. Like mount a crutch or something like that on the wall. I've seen it done with crutches, like you would use to walk with when you got a broken leg, where that's mounted sideways. So it's not, how do you explain this on video? So it's mounted sideways, like sticking out at an angle, not flat like that, but sideways. And you basically stick the rabbit up in there and slide it down. It has a curved part, and the rabbit's head goes right there in that curved part, and you pull down real hard. It'll dislocate their head from their neck, and that does it pretty quick. Same method with the broomstick. You set them on the ground, put the broomstick right behind their head, 1 foot on either side of the broomstick, grab their legs and pull, and you're dislocating their neck, basically from their head, which, does the trick. And it's fairly quick. I've also seen people use a dog chain, a choke chain that you would use on a dog, and they have it hanging one end up in a tree, put the rabbit's neck through the chain, pull down, and it does the same basic concept. So there's a couple of ways to do that. Anyway, hopefully that helps out. Jupiter says, hey, Chris, sorry I missed QuailCon. Okay, I think we already saw that one, didn't we? I think that one got posted twice or something. I don't know. Metal Mender says, greetings from Northwest Tennessee. It was nice to see you in person. I agree. It was nice to meet you guys too. Were you the ones I said sounded like Tennessee? I think maybe. I don't remember exactly the name. I didn't get your YouTube name. I got your actual name, I think. But, hey, Lee's Quail says, hello to everyone from Oklahoma. Good to see you. Let's see. Aaron says, I'll be butchering some quail this weekend. I'll video using the electric plucker. If you want to check it out, I do like your method of butchering that shows you showed us at QuailCon. Yeah, our butchering class, I thought the butchering class went great. We had 3 of us in there teaching, Jasmine Bass and Brad. I can't ever remember Brad's last name. Both from Missouri. So all 3 of us from Missouri representing at QuailCon with the butchering class. Jasmine showed a way to process quail to make them real pretty, like table presentation mode. I mean, she did a great job with that. Way prettier and way more patience than I have doing it. Brad showed kind of what most of us probably do, which is the spatchcock, cut the spine out, and then you dispatch it that way. And then I showed how to breast them out, where you just pop the breast out real quick. So we showed 3 different ways you can do it. And then we allowed people to come up that had never processed before and process their own. And I thought it went pretty well that way. But yeah, I'd love to see that quail plucker. That's the next step, right? Everybody wants to know how to pluck a quail. And I just kind of always thought, I'm not so sure it's possible to do. Sorry, I got an itch. Probably got a bug crawling on me or something, but maybe not. So yeah, I'd love to see that. I don't know. I can't remember how are you gonna get that to me? Make a note here, see what happens. There it is. Got it. Got your homestead. Now it looks like it. All right, I'll try to save that and go back and check for that video. All right. Jupiter says, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, everyone. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right. Let's see. I'm skipping over everybody saying hello to everybody else. Hey, Jasmine's here. Good to see you, Jasmine. And Verna says, hey, Jasmine, loved your dance. I don't know what that was about, but I missed the dance apparently. Elizabeth says, hello. Thank you all for the advice. We started watching you in March of this year. After a couple of videos, we bought 17 3-day-old quail. We have over 100 now. They're awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. And yeah, you can definitely ramp up very quickly with quail. So congratulations. Well done. Sounds like you've done something right for sure. Yep. Goudreau's, I think it is, Urban Homestead says, yes, the Louisiana ones. Everyone has trouble with the pronunciation, so no worries. Yeah, is that a French name? Is that a French? I don't know. But yeah, I have a hard time. I know I'm not the only one. Hey, Andy Rabbit's here. Good to see you. That's where I'm getting rabbits from this weekend. Berna says, Jasmine, you are a blast in person as well as online. Yeah, I agree. It was very nice to meet Jasmine in person. She did a fantastic job with that butchering class. I was really impressed. Ed says, thanks for the compliment on the egg jewelry, Katrina. Hey, I complimented you too, but it was nice. You did a good job with that. Everybody was wearing it. I mean, I saw lots of people walking around wearing necklaces with little quail eggs on them and stuff. All right, easy cooking with Mihawk. It says, my quails only have wire base. Do I have to put some solid base in it, or can they live in there comfortably? They could live in there comfortably. I know I heard part of Dale's Quails. Dale from Dale's Quails was one of the speakers on Sunday at QuailCon. And one thing he really stressed was using coated wire for your flooring. And I think he said he used 1/2 inch by, is it 1/4 by 1? No, 1/4 by 1/2 or 1/2 by 1. 1/2 by 1 seems awful. Maybe it was 1/2 by 1 inch wire, but he uses coated, PVC coated, I think it's PVC coated, hardware cloth, because he says that his adult birds get leg problems by walking on wire. Now, I don't really have leg problems with my birds. I don't have any kind of issues with bumblefoot or any of those kinds of things, but I also have about half my hutch is a big sandbox, and the birds spend a great deal amount of time in there. So I may rethink some of the things that I've done because of, listening to him. You learn something from everybody. And, maybe I may go ahead and switch out the bottom of my cage to a coated wire. But that may be something to consider too. If you don't have anything for them to get off the wire, you may want to use a coated wire. So I think Dale can probably chime in and tell us the specifics of what size he uses. I think it was 1/2 inch by 1 inch, I believe, but I may be wrong on that one. We'll see where he says. Excuse me. And yeah, it's a good idea to have a sandbox in there for multiple reasons. One is, I mean, the birds really enjoy it. They love the sandbox. They like to get in there and dust bathe in it and all kinds of. But the biggest reason I find that it's beneficial is they lay most of their eggs in the sandbox, and they're just like super clean. Every time I get an egg out, it's just I'm always amazed like how clean the eggs come out of the sandbox. It's just crazy. Let's see. We got a bunch of people talking to each other. We'll let you. Hey, there's 12 gauge from Arkansas. Good to see you, 12 gauge. Let's see. Katrina says we lost Zeddy, a breeding doe, with the 111-degree heat. I'm sorry to hear that. Said she had solar-powered fans and ice water bottles to lay next to. It was just too hot. Yeah, it was stupid hot. Larson Farms. I don't know what that is. I don't know what just happened here. I lost track of things. Hang on. I don't know. Larson Farms, you left a comment maybe, but it's just showing up as like, I don't know what it's looking. It's not a comment actually. So if you're trying to say something, I can't read it. Kim says, already had a vacation planned for last weekend, but next year I'm riding shotgun with Jasmine. Awesome. We should all the Missouri people should like meet in St. Louis or something and then just convoy all the way to Ohio and show up there and be like, just everybody show up at my shire right at the same time. I did talk to Zach about it. He said, the most of the people, not most of the people there, but the biggest state represented there was Ohio, which makes sense. I mean, my shire farm's right there in Ohio. Everybody close by can go. But the second biggest state represented was Missouri. So we did a good job. Ed said, okay, he's saying thanks to somebody. Feather Connection says, we killed our rabbits by Hillbilly CO2 system, which is dry ice plus water. Once dead, then processed. So you're putting them like in a cooler or something like that with dry ice and water that basically you're gassing them and making them go to sleep. And then therefore that makes sense. Jupiter says, we don't raise rabbits, but I honestly feel like I could start raising them tomorrow with all the knowledge you've shared. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Jupiter. Glad that you find the videos helpful. All right. Pete says, some of my quail keep getting bloody toes. Does this show too much aggression? I mean, it might be. Excuse me. I don't know how old your birds are. There's lots of different reasons that could be. Usually aggression is not going to be at the toes. It's going to be at the face. So you're going to see it around the eyes and around the cheeks, that kind of area, the chest, right up at the top of the chest. That's aggression. Bloody toes makes me think, it could be other birds pecking at their toes because quail toes look a lot like mealworms. So make sure that they don't run out of food. If they run out of food, they start getting a little bit desperate and they may start picking on the other birds. That may be it. It could be something to do with the cage flooring. If they're getting their toenails caught in the cage floor or something like that. Do you have problems with mice or rats or something like that? Because they'll go after the feet of the birds a lot of times too. Not mice usually, but rats might. Let's see. Yeah, Verna's saying their bloody toes are usually rats. So yeah, it's a good thought. It could very well be rats. I kind of doubt that it's aggression. Katrina says, I've done the drill attachment plucker, made a video, just haven't posted it yet. Interesting. Scrap 5000 says, have you considered getting chickens? I've thought about it from time to time. I don't really see a reason to get chickens because, I live in town. So the only thing I could get, I'm limited on how many chickens I could have. And the only thing I could get them for would be eggs. I can't have a rooster. Well, I get more eggs than I can eat out of the quail. So I don't know if it makes sense to get chickens. I'll admit every once in a while, it's kind of nice to have a chicken egg because, well, they're just easier to deal with sometimes, but I don't know if it's enough to really warrant getting chickens. So I don't know. We'll see. Metal Mender says, yeah, that was us. Got that bad Tennessee draw. Yeah, I can remember you. I remember you guys. So it's not bad. It's a good thing. I like it. I like everybody with an accent. I'm saying you sound like I pick on Kristen from Tango Farms. I said she sounds like Wisconsin, but that's not a bad thing. I'm sure I sound like Missouri, and it's fine. We all sound like where we're from. It's kind of cool, I think, to hear different accents from different people and be able to know what part of the country or world you're from by your accent. I think it's cool. Pete says, my birds are on wire bottom floor about 3 feet off the ground. Haven't had issues with rats in the cage. Okay. Well, it could be the birds going after each other. You might try switching them out with a, PVC coated wire like Dale from Dale's Quail says, and see if that helps clear that up, because it's definitely, there's something going on there. I wish I knew exactly what it was so I could tell you, but yeah, the first thing comes to mind is probably it would be rats. But if you're saying there's no rats, then or some other kind of predator, but most other predators would take a whole foot off, or a whole leg off, not just bloody the toe up. But it could be that they're getting their nails caught in the wiring, flooring somehow or another. And I've had that happen once or twice where a bird's lost a nail in the wire flooring. It's not a common thing with me, but it has happened before, and it could be. You might try, switching your wire flooring out and seeing if that fixes your issues. Linda says, I missed the dancing and singing, but I was awesome to meet you, Chris and Jasmine. It was awesome to meet you as well. I didn't see any dancing or singing either, but Ed says, Jesse, thanks. Okay, glad she likes it. I'll let you guys talk to each other. Ed says, Jasmine is awesome. Jesse says, Jasmine was the hit of QuailCon. Jasmine, look, she's talking to somebody. That's all right. I'll let you guys talk. I agree. She was a hit for sure. And Brad did a great job with his. He showed, Brad also showed the bloodless call and did a great job with that. That's something I'm not very good at. Basically, you just dislocate a cervical dislocate. I always get that wrong. Break the neck of the quail with your hands, with your thumb. I always have a problem. I always pull the head completely off, but he did a great job showing that, demonstrating how that was done. Both of them did fantastic. Katrina says, cooked quail in the car. This is what? Cooked quail in the car. This is now my boyfriend's favorite way to have it. Super nice intended. I don't think that I don't think that's what you mean. I think that's probably a autocorrect or something like that. Did 4 quail and got about 1/2 cup of broth out of it. Video will be out on Sunday on Sow and Tear. Oh, okay. Now I know exactly who you are. I keep having a hard time. I know that we've talked so many times, and I always have a hard time remembering that for some reason. I don't think you meant you cooked it in the car, right? Is that what you mean? I don't know. Joy says, hello from Western Oregon. Good to see you. Dale says, 1 by 1/2 inch coated PVC or vinyl, both work. Thank you, Dale. I appreciate that. I thought that's what you'd said. I currently use a 1/4 inch. No, I use 1/2 inch. I use 1/2 inch hardware cloth for my floors, and it works fine. But I'm not against switching out for just the flooring to something like that. The hard part's going to be able to being able to find it too. You're probably using what gauge? Do you know what gauge that is? It's probably is that a 19 gauge? I'm not sure if 19 gauge would be too thin or not. All right. Let's see. Everybody's talking to each other tonight. That's good. We got a good community. Yep. Dale says to Ed, your necklaces are on point. I agree. Jennifer says, question, where do you get and find 1/2 inch by 1 inch PVC wire? Online, probably. Let me see if I can find it. 1 inch by 1/2 inch coated hardware. There we go. So I just did a search for it. Boy, it's kind of expensive. There is looks like Tractor Supply carries a 1/2 inch mesh. Well, I don't know. I haven't looked into any of those to know what they are. There's a 19 gauge coated hardware. It's on Amazon, but it's 1/2 inch. It's not 1/2 inch by 1 inch. You'd have to look around a little bit, and it looks like you have to buy a pretty big roll of it at a time. So it may be one of those things that you have to go in with somebody else, see if somebody else wants to split the cost with you. So, because otherwise, you only need it for the floor. Unless you plan on putting it around the whole cage. But, if you could split the cost with somebody, because you're going to get way more than you need probably out of one roll. Where are we at here? Porcupine Acres says 100 right about the eggs being clean with the sandbox. Yeah, I agree. They are. Dave says, do you recommend diatomaceous earth for the quail dirt bass, or is it more of a chicken thing? I actually don't recommend diatomaceous earth at all, unless you have a problem, unless there's a reason. I wouldn't use it as a preventative. And there's a couple of reasons why I wouldn't do that. One is, I mean, it's a broad spectrum. It kills anything, bug-wise, anything. And I just don't like using broad spectrum pesticides. Well, it's not really a pesticide, but I don't like to kill everything. I don't see any reason for that myself. And secondly, there is a possibility. How serious of an issue it is, I don't know. But there is a possibility that it could cause some respiratory issues when it, dusts up and gets in the air and they breathe it in. But I don't know how big of an issue that is. And the third reason is just because I've never had any issues or any reason to use it. I mean, I've never used diatomaceous earth, and I don't have any problems with mites or lice or any of those kinds of things. If your birds are on the ground, you may have a little bit more of an issue, and it may be more of a reason to use it. But I'd wait till I had something that, me personally, I'd wait until I had a problem that needed to be treated before I'd use it. I wouldn't use it as a preventative. But that's just me. Blessed with Bets is here, says better late than never. Jesse says, Jasmine, and you were a hit with Loretta. Awesome. Yeah, there's a couple of people agreeing with me saying it's bad for the lungs. Jasmine says, Chris, I'm game for the Show Me Convoy Quail Con 23. Yeah, that might work out pretty well. I don't know. We'll have to talk about it as it gets closer. It's a year away, so we got plenty of time. Ed says, I'll ask Zach if I can do a quail and egg crafting class, and I will show all my secrets. Well, there you go. I bet he'll let you. All right, we're going to skip a few comments where you guys are talking to each other. How are we doing on time? Holy cow, time flies when you're having fun. We're already half an hour in. Let's see. Bray the Extreme, I think is what it says. Do you think one hen can reproduce my whole flock if I only have one hen quail? I probably could, but I think it would probably be best to order some eggs in or something like that, so you get, just a little bit more of a mix, or find some more, hens or something locally, rather than try to produce the whole thing from one bird. You're guaranteed to have inbreeding there. Not a huge problem with the birds, but over time it's going to creep up on you. And if you can get a little bit of a broader gene pool to start with, it's going to be a little bit better. Jammin' Mike says, I've been getting 14 to 15 eggs a day the last week from our chickens. Nice. That's a lot of eggs. Katrina says, regarding toes, are you feeding mealworms? They may think they look like mealworms. Yeah, I agree. That's a possibility as well. Let's see. Almost there to 100,000 subs. Keep up the good work. Oh, me. Am I really? Am I close to 100,000 subs now? I haven't looked. It was like 80,000 or something. How are we doing now? I got to check it out and see. Yeah, we're still at like 88,000. So, but that's cool. I'm happy with 88,000 subs. Thanks, you guys, for all that you do sub, all that you that watch the videos. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Oh, okay. So Katrina's saying, yeah, I cooked quail on the dashboard of the car in a solar oven. Interesting. Jasmine says, we had a fantastic team. Chris, Brett, and myself loved teaching with you two. Everyone loved the whole experience. I think it was a great team as well. I think you guys both did a fantastic job. And I felt lucky to be part of that team. So thank you guys both. Let's see. Crafted Branch Homestead says, wire at True Value. Interesting. I'll have to look there and see. I've got one. I've got an Ace Hardware. I don't know if that's what you mean by True Value. I don't know. I'll have to look and see what I can find. All right. We're going to skip over a couple of comments where you guys talk. There we go. Scrap 500 says, I'd be careful with the 1 by 1.5 inch openings if you have feral cats. I've had cats grab and kill 3 birds through the hole that size. That might not, that's probably not terrible advice, but I had a quail, I'm using 1/2 inch square, and I had a fox that was pulling the bird's legs off through the bottom of the wire through a 1/2 inch square opening. So I don't know that it's specific to that, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Big Ed's farm, or Big E's farm. There we go. Says, love your videos. Just hatched 33 quail out last week. Had to cover them up. Today they are already jumping out. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for watching the videos. First of all, I'm glad that you do find them helpful. And well done, hatching out 33 quail. That was fantastic. I set some eggs. I planned on them hatching out the week before I left for quail, or the week I left for QuailCon, a couple of days before I left. Not a single egg hatch, not a single one. And 3 weeks before that, I hatched out from eggs from the same exact birds, and got like a great hatch. I set like 35 eggs and got all but like 4 to hatch. So it was great. So I was pretty sure I knew what the problem was. I threw some thermometers in the incubator when I got back, and sure enough, it's the temperature's all it's all a mess right now. I got the temperature right now. I had the thermostat set at 99.5, and it was up to 115. So I kicked it down to 90 degrees on the incubator itself, and it's reading still 115, 110. So something's wrong. I haven't had a chance to really troubleshoot it much, but we'll see. Let's see where we at here. I'm skipping a few things. There we go. Elizabeth says, Elizabeth and Randy, do you know if quail and pigeons can be kept together? We're talking about building a large aviary with a more natural environment for some of our breeders, not layers. Yeah, if you want to, I'm sure if you had a big enough aviary for them, you could. My concern would be pigeons are roosting birds. Quail are ground birds. So you're going to have the quail walking around on the ground with the pigeons above them. If you have too many of them, then you're going to have pigeons droppings all over your quail. Now, I really don't know if there's any kind of diseases or illness or any of that kind of stuff that can be passed from one bird to the other. You have to do some more research into that to see. This is the first time I've been asked about keeping pigeons and quail together, but I think I'd keep them pretty loosely packed. I wouldn't try to go too dense with the, and maybe put like root stuff for the pigeons with like some kind of shelving underneath it, so they're not just, letting their droppings fall right on the quail below. I really don't know. I don't know if there's any kind of health issues you have to worry about. Maybe somebody in here will know, but I don't know with quail or with pigeons. Jupiter says raccoons could definitely reach through 1 by 1/2 inch wire. We finally got the raccoons this morning that's been killing my ladies. They are evil. Yes, they are for sure. But you could fix that too. Now that I think about it, we talked about predators at QuailCon a little bit, and I remembered what so many people recommended to me when I had the fox problem was that just put an extra set of wire underneath the bottom, and it doesn't have to be, the same wire. It doesn't have to be coated or anything. Just put an extra set of wire, like another floor that far below the one that you've got in the hutch. Nothing is going to reach through 2 sections of flooring and get your birds. Let's see. Or put an electric wire around it. Scrap. Okay, talking to Katrina, talking to Jasmine. Lots of conversations going on with each other. Again, I don't care. I'm not complaining. Hey, Tanya. Good to see you, Tanya. Where are we at? Dominique says, we need a cooking class at QuailCon next time. 5 different ways to cook them and ways to use the eggs. I get asked all the time. That's a great idea. Whiskey Tango Farms, did you hear that? We do a butcher class. Maybe we need to do a cooking class at QuailCon. That's a great idea. I'd be willing to do either one again, butcher class or cooking class, or we can do both. We can do butcher in the morning, cooking in the afternoon, right? That's a great idea. We could come up with a couple of ways to cook them and, just do it. 12 Gauge says, sorry, got to 10 quail. Y'all have a good night. God bless. Thank you, 12 Gauge. You too. Let's see. Porky Pine Acre says, how often do you get double yolk eggs? We've been getting a few. Not really all that often. I get them pretty regular. I get them mostly whenever my birds first start laying eggs. That's when I get the most double yolk eggs, little bitty tiny no yolk eggs, eggs with no shell on them, weird eggs right about that time. But then after that, it's rare. After the birds have been laying for like 2 weeks, it's rare that I start getting them. Occasionally, but not very often. Jasmine said, did everyone get their quail eggs from QuailCon set in the incubator? I set mine yesterday. I thought about picking up some eggs while I was there, and I didn't do it. And I kind of kicked myself for it, thinking on the way home, I'm like, why didn't I get some eggs while I was there? But then I realized, my incubator's probably shot, and it wouldn't be a good idea. And it's probably a good idea that I didn't, because my incubator is not working. G. Michael says, hey, Chris, I hope all is well with you and the family. Question, have you done a video on quail math? No, I have not. Are you talking about, when you say quail math, are you talking about how, how it just explodes on you and you can just it can get out of hand pretty quickly. Is that what you mean? I haven't done a video on that. No. I hear all these people. It's kind of funny you talk about that, but I hear all these people like, how many quail do you have? Like, oh, we have 100. We have 200 quail. And I think, oh my gosh, that's a lot of birds. And I'm not sure why you need to keep 200 birds unless you're selling. If you're selling birds on a regular basis, that makes sense because you need that many to hatch out and be able to sell them. But like just for personal consumption, I can keep 20 birds, and that's a ton of I can hatch out a ton of birds from 20 laying hens, and do meat run after meat run after meat run. I don't need to keep 100 birds, so I don't know. Blessed with Pets says, when you first got our chickens, they laid a double yolk eggs. Now they don't lay. Yeah. Now give them some time. They'll probably start laying again. Make sure they have plenty of light. All right, let me skip down here. There we go. Truck 3 Warden says, evening, butchered my first quail today. Thanks to the team at QuailCon. I knew what I was doing. Awesome. I do remember talking to you at QuailCon. And I'm glad that you found that helpful. And I'm glad that it worked out. You know what you're doing. So well done. Let's see. Where we at here? Let's see. Bray the Extreme. The inbreeding doesn't really bother me because I get my new birds each year. Thanks for the advice. Okay, well, that works then. Katrina says, above what ambient temperature should you attempt to incubate eggs? I was going to incubate once I got back, but we're way too hot, 108 degrees today, etc. I incubated all summer long, and it was 105 every day. As long as you're collecting eggs on a daily basis, most of my birds lay in the evening. I collect my eggs in the morning. I don't really know that it matters that much, though. And if you're collecting the eggs, not letting them sit there for, a day and a half, 2 days before you collect them, I wouldn't worry about it. I'd go ahead and do it. Andy said, I had someone ask me, this is Andy Rabbit. I had someone ask me if I would trade some chickens for some of my old quail. I have learned I don't like the mess or space of chickens. They do take up some space. They're nice to have around for some things. What I do like about chickens is you can kind of, like if you have a small flock of chickens, you can make them multi-purpose. You throw all your kitchen scraps to them, and man, they'll turn it into compost in no time. That's pretty nice. They're great little bug eaters. Keep a lot of bugs away. So there's some nice things about chickens. But yeah, they required a lot more space, a little bit more work. They also draw a lot more attention to them. So if you're like me and you live in the city, that's a little bit of a hesitation to get chickens. It's not. I mean, I'm allowed to have them. It's in the ordinances, but it draws a lot. It draws attention, and I really don't need a whole lot of attention. Then again, who knows? Maybe I'll do something else that'll draw attention later too. Blessed with Pets says, we bought 18 quail, and the sides of the cages had 1/2 inch wire, and they were fine for about a month, but something killed all of them through the cage within a week. Yeah. On the sides of the cages, I wouldn't go that wide. I would go with just regular 1/2 inch, or you could even go smaller than that if you wanted to, but 1/2 inch hardware cloth has done well for me. Let's see. Linda says yes to Jasmine. 180 eggs from QuailCon went into the incubator yesterday, so we'll be hatching the same time. Yay, fun. Good luck with your hatches. I hope it goes well. Trick 3 Warden says, it was nice to talk to the people that I watch. It was nice to talk to you guys, the people that watch me, I guess. It's nice to be able to put a face with a name, get to talk to you for a little bit, just like normal people, and I think it was a great time. I had a blast at QuailCon. Tony wants to know, can you incubate eggs all year round? Can't remember if you said that on any of your videos. You can incubate your eggs all year long if you want to. I typically don't do it in the depth of winter because it's harder for me. I got to keep them in the brooder a little longer, and I got to do a lot to acclimate them to the outside temperature because I don't want to take them from like a 80-degree brooder to a 10-degree, outside temperature and just slam them out into it. I want to acclimate them to that a little bit. So I typically don't do it in the middle of winter, but you absolutely can. Verna says, yes, since I run quail in the kitchen, that is a great idea. Yeah, I think it is. We'd have to do like outdoor cooking. I mean, I've got camp stoves I could cook on. I mean, that's no problem. I'm got a Dutch oven. I got all kinds of things. I can cook outdoors. So we could do it. We could definitely do it. Tom Ellis says, hey guys, how do you know if your rabbit is ready for a nesting box? Count down the days. So typically I'll put the nesting box in around day 28, but I always let the rabbit tell me when they're ready for it. So just get prepared, have your nest box ready to go in on day 28, take a handful of straw, throw it in the cage. And if she picks it up and starts walking around the cage with it hanging out both sides of her mouth, it'll be really obvious what I'm talking about. We call it hay stashing. If she does that, she's ready for a nest box. If she doesn't, give her another day. If she's still not hay stashing by day 30, put the nest box in anyway because you're running out of time. So that's my advice. Yeah, a bunch of people saying the same thing. And you probably already read that. I don't know. I should just sit back here on the live broadcast and let everybody else answer the questions. You guys do a great job with it. Linda says, Jumbo Whites, Sparkly Scarlet, ETA with a box of F's mixed in. Okay. That's you got from QuailCon. Awesome. Crafted Branch Homestead says, do you generally treat or call birds with bumblefoot or bumblefoot? I think it's probably bumblefoot. Honestly, I have never had a bird with bumblefoot. If I did have a bird with bumblefoot, I would probably treat it within reason. If it gets to a point where it's, obviously impacting the bird and it's overly infected, I would probably go ahead and call that bird at that point. But I kind of talked about this at QuailCon too. I watch my birds. I've had a bird that got a leg pulled off by the fox, but it was getting around just fine. It acted like it really wasn't being bothered that much. It was eating, it was drinking, it was hopping around on one leg, but it was fine. Fine within reason. I'm sure it wasn't incredibly comfortable, but it didn't look like it was in distress. It wasn't lethargic. It wasn't sitting in one spot, not moving and panting heavily or any of those kinds of things. And I kind of felt like, it was like, I thought about culling the bird because it was missing a leg, but I kind of felt like that Monty Python skit where they bring out your dead and the guy's like, I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead. I'm feeling much better. I'm okay. I kind of felt like that. I didn't want to necessarily put the bird down. He seemed like he was doing okay. So I let him go. And he lived until I processed him, for like a year and a half with one leg, and he was fine. Old BD1 says, hello from Southern California. Awesome. Oh, and Aaron, I missed one from Aaron. Says, how often do you replace your hens? About once every year and a half, somewhere right around in there. I don't keep real close track, like that's a year and a half old hen. I just replace all my breeders about once every year and a half. So it's like some of those birds are a year and a half old. Some of them are probably 6 months old. Some of them are, maybe a year old. It's a mix, but about a year and a half is about how often I just replace everything. Sometimes I do it once a season. Sometimes I wait and do it, at the end of the next season. The birds I've got out there now, a lot of them are from last season. They were hatched out early last season, and they're a little over a year old, a year and a half old, roughly. Katrina says, and my broody quail mama wannabe stopped incubating when I was at QuailCon, so no babies in the aviary this time around. That's unfortunate. I hear a lot of people say that when they have an egg or a quail go broody, that they don't sit necessarily all the way through every time. That it's a pretty common thing. It's amazing you had to go broody at all. Metal Minder says, we got our QuailCon eggs incubating too. Awesome. I wish I was there with you guys, but like I said, my incubator's shot. I got to get that thing fixed before I can incubate any eggs. Andy Rabbit says, maybe they can hook the quail for the dinner or cook the quail for the dinner in front of everyone and watch in a few different ways. Maybe they could. I think it'd be all right to do a class on cooking too, though. If we're just cooking a couple of quail, we could do that pretty easily. I don't know. There's a lot of ways we could do it. We got a whole year to plan it out. So Verna, you take that note down. I'll try to remember between you and I, one of us can talk to Whiskey Tango Farms if they're not here, or Zach, and let them know that was an idea, and I think it was a good one. The problem I think with cooking, when you're cooking, like you're saying, cook in front of everybody. If we do another dinner next year, I don't know if we will. I assume we will, but I don't know. If we do another dinner, though, you're cooking for like 300 people. It's not really, they did a great job. The quail turned out fantastic, but you're pretty much just cooking to get them done. You can't really show multiple different ways to cook quail or some of the other ways to cook quail. I think there's a lot of ways that we could do that. Katrina says, maybe, okay, but you're talking to somebody. I'll let you. Jim Mike says, I'm not mistaken. If you get a broody quail hen, it will hatch. Oh, if I'm not mistaken, if you get a broody hen, it will hatch quail eggs. I've heard of people using what are the little bitty bantam chickens to hatch quail out, and so they did a pretty good job. I don't know. I haven't tried it, so it's hard to say. Verna says, Chris, at my table, I had visitors sign their name and their aliases so I could look at it later. That's a great idea. I didn't have a table, so maybe I need to work on that. Maybe I need to have one set up next year. I was the only, I wasn't the only speaker that didn't have a table. The MPIP guy didn't have a table either. Elizabeth and Randy says, let's see, we're building an A-frames around small trees. So the 4 pigeons have some roost where we're going to put some stumps on the sides with limbs across to make the little box-like sections, 14 foot wide by 24 foot long. And we can do 2. Well, it sounds like a nice setup. Give it a try. Let us know how it works. I mean, the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to decide it doesn't work and you have to move them to cages. But try it out and see. Tanya says, thanks, Chris. Well, you're absolutely welcome. Feather Connection says, lost 3 kits today from the heat. What do you bottle feed few-day-old kits? I don't actually bottle feed them, but if you had to, it would be. And first of all, I'm sorry to hear you lost 3 kits from the heat. That's a miserable thing for sure. If you had to bottle feed them, you're going to look for like goat milk or kitten milk replacement. One of those two: goat milk replacement, kitten milk replacement. Go to like a farm supply store, a feed store. You don't ask them for that, and one of those 2 things should work pretty well for your rabbits. Tom says, I'm in the Philippines. At my work, they drop without warning. What? But my personal rabbits nest normally. I don't know what we're talking about, Tom. What drops without warning? But my personal rabbits nest normally. Oh, you're in the Philippines and at my work. Okay, so what you're saying is rabbits at your work have babies without warning? Is that what you mean? Maybe. Oh, interesting. Hey, Witch Doctor's here. Good to see you, Witch Doctor. Got a chance to hang out with you guys a little bit, and that was a really cool experience. I thought it was great to get to hang out with you. Thanks for visiting with me for a while. We got to interact a couple of times. My eye is much better now. I didn't actually do anything. I just let it heal, and it's much, much better. I had a sty Thursday night before I left for QuailCon. My eyelid swells up. I got a sty. So all weekend long, I'm walking around like, it wasn't quite that bad, but I don't think most people even noticed it. But anyway, where were we at? Psycho Ward's here too. Says, hey, they're from Las Vegas. It's a chilly 106 degrees. Yeah, but it's a dry heat. So, all right. I'm going to skip through a couple of comments, let you guys talk to each other. Verna says, I'll bring it up to Zach. That's a great idea. Yeah, I think that maybe I could. Like I said, I got all the stuff I can do outdoor cooking with or without electricity. So, we can do it. Dominique DeMille says, I was going to put it in the suggestion box, but my daughter was ready to hit the road. She had fun and then was done. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, when I was ready to go home, I was ready to be home. But that's all right. Witch Doctor says, Katrina, I think we could have talked all night. We never went to bed. We went to the hotel, packed, and then to the airport. Oh, man, that sounds like a miserable trip. Hopefully, I'm glad to hear you made it home okay. Jammin' Mike says, my first rabbit she had on August 13th. She surprised me. I tried giving her Timothy hay. We used the nest boxes, and she never did get a mouthful of hay. So about 3 days before, there's more to that, she had them. I stuck the nest box in, and a few days later, she had 3 babies, and they were eating and drinking water on their own. Oh, and they are eating. I was like, they came out eating and drinking water. That sounds crazy. Well, I'm glad they made it okay. I'm glad that she had them in the nest box. Some rabbits are a little weird. My rabbits usually, I've had does that they don't start doing anything until like the day they're going to have the babies. They start hay stashing. I put the nest box in, boom, babies that night. Most of my does don't pull any fur until like after they have the babies. But every once in a while I have a doe that will build a nest a week early or 4 or 5 days early and then pull fur and line the nest. And then wait like 4 days before she has the baby. They're all a little bit different. Ben says, hey, I'm in southeast Idaho, and we have pretty long winters. Will the quail rest with the decreased light of winter, and will this be okay for them? Yeah, it'll be fine. We don't have, I don't know if we have any longer winters than you do. I mean, our winters usually start, the coldest part of them is usually, going into December, late November, probably mid to late November when we start getting down below freezing. And that lasts until, end of February. So we got December, January, February, 3 full months of probably, even into March, really, where it's still pretty cold. But they do fine. They're going to be fine. Give them a way to get out of the wind. Don't worry about the temperature. They're going to do just fine. I don't know, as far as them resting with the decreased light of winter, I mean, they'll stop laying eggs if you don't put external light on them. I don't know if that's rest for them or not, honestly, but I've done both. I've kept my birds laying all winter long, and I've let them take the winter off. I don't notice much of a difference, really. All right. Jammin' Mike says she had them. Oh, wait, we already read that one. Okay. Which doctor said there are so many people we didn't get to talk to? I think we need a third day. I know. Before long, it's going to be like a week-long event that we do, but, someone's got to work, unfortunately. All right. Let's see. I'm going to skip over like I said, you guys talking to each other. Grafted Branch Homestead says I used a chicken a week ago to hatch out 4 quail. Awesome. Says it kind of worked. They hatched in the 2 hours I was gone, but no chicks. Think the chicken turned on them, I think is what I meant. Maybe pull them out during the lockdown phase. Okay, that's a good idea. Blessed with Pets says, what's the most you've ever spent on a single breeder rabbit? Probably $50, roughly. Verna's already texted Zach that idea. Awesome. Witch Doctor says, we really enjoyed talking with you. Get some colloidal silver, 10 ppm, parts per million, I think it is, to keep it on hand. Oh, keep on hand. Yeah, I might do that. I don't know. But it did, like I said, it's clearing up, so not a big deal now. I mean, it still, I think, is a little bit swollen. I don't know if you can tell my eyelid, but it's not like at all sore or bothering me, and not like, I mean, there for a couple of days, it was like kind of bothering my vision a little bit. But it wasn't that bad. I just had to blink real hard, and then I could see fine again. But yeah, it's all right. And Blessed with Pets wants to know if I've gotten rabbits yet. I got one. I got a silver fox doe this weekend from QuailCon from Whiskey Tango Farms. Good pedigree silver fox doe. That's all I've got right now. But I think I'll be picking some more up this weekend. Let's see. Grafted Branch Homestead says, I made a couple of short videos. I think that's probably a reference to, I think somebody probably asked you a question or something, right? I'm not sure anyway, either way, good job. It says, finally starting rabbits next month, hopefully. Well, awesome. I think rabbits are a great addition to your homestead. All right, where are we at? There we go. Cycle Ward says, yesterday was the last hot day of the year. All right, well, yesterday was our last hot day of the year, 113 degrees. That's pretty hot. Which Doctor says, I love Orpingtons. That's probably not directed at me either. I'm not sure why. That seems very random. So I don't tend to read, like if the comment says at somebody else, I just skip over those and let you guys have your conversation. So sometimes I get these like, that's a very random comment. Well, I like chocolate. It's just kind of weird. I don't really like chocolate. I mean, I like chocolate, but it's not like one of my favorite things or anything. Blessed with Pets says, I'm struggling to come up with content for my channel. I usually get too lazy to edit anything too, but I'm just struggling to get ideas. I get it. Yeah, that's always tough. It's always tough to come up with content for the channel. It's harder than you guys think, but I don't have great advice for that. I usually think of something like last minute and then get it done. I got a little bit, that was one good thing about QuailCon too. I got a little bit more energized, so I'm going to try to get in and start answering comments again. I just feel like I owe that to you guys, so we'll see how long I can keep that up. It's a little bit hard right now, but I'll do my best to do it. And let's get back to it. How are we doing on time? Oh my gosh, we're almost out of time. I didn't realize I almost went over. Grafted Branch Homestead says listening at work. Let's see. We're going to skip over a bunch of things. Where are we at here? Jama Mike says, I think you'll get a laugh from this redneck. We have one rabbit that if you put, I think it's like, I think you will get a laugh from this, comma, redneck. I think I'm the redneck. Says, we have one rabbit that if you put hay in the nest box before she had them, she will pull the hay out. She wants to build it herself. Yeah, I've had that too. Katrina says, Chris, I was interested to know what you think of Silver Fox compares to the last ones you have. Yeah, I've had Silver Fox before. I like them. They're a great meat rabbit. And one of the things I've noticed about them, the last one I had and this one as well that I've got right now, is they're really mellow, really easy to handle. I mean, not hard at all. This rabbit's, still a little shy of me, but not overly shy, and I can just pick her up. She doesn't kick and scratch real hard. She's not biting, lunging at me like some of the New Zealand's can get a little, especially the does, a little crazy. And I don't have those problems with these. So we'll see how it goes though. Verna says, after this year, Chris, I have to pull eggplant out of, after this, not after this year, just after this, Chris, I need to pull eggplant out of the freeze dryer. I thought somebody coming. I was looking to see. All right, I'm going to have to wrap this one up, guys. Wait. We've just got a few more comments. I can get them done. Lots of people talking to each other. Blessed with Pet says, God bless, Chris. God bless you too. Thank you. Ben says, and as a follow-up, will scratch grains. He advised for a supplement for winter. What? Who advised? Be advised. Okay. As a follow-up, will scratch grains be advised for a supplement for winter? I'd actually stay away from that unless you're going to provide them with grit. If they've got a good sandbox, then yeah, I mean, they'll use the sand as grit. Then yeah, go ahead and try and see if it works, see if they want it. But not huge amounts. That should be just small amounts. Their feed is, if you're buying commercial, a game bird feed, a game bird starter, a turkey starter, any of those kinds of things, that's a complete feed. And if you're adding supplements to it, you may be taking away a little bit from the feed. But it's okay. If you want to try it, go ahead and try it. Just don't go overboard with it. And then Gaff the GGM says, hey, I was wondering if you could help me figure out what's wrong with my quail chick. They keep on dropping their neck close to the floor and backs up while shaking its head. Oh, boy. So these are one bird or multiple birds is what you didn't tell me. My quail chick. Okay, it's one bird. Well, no, because then you say they. Okay, so here's my thought on that. If it's one bird, I would probably call that bird. And watch it for a little while, see if it gets better, call it. If it's multiple birds, here's the reason I say call, because if it's one bird, it's probably a genetic thing of some kind. It's a weaker bird for whatever reason. If it keeps that behavior up and it doesn't get better, call it out, because you don't want to breed that into your flock. If it's multiple birds, then I would look at maybe a vitamin deficiency, probably vitamin E or thiamine. Those seem to be kind of the most common issues with birds that have neck problems, head problems, that kind of stuff. Sorry for a very short answer to it today, but I'm already past time. I got to wrap this one up and get off here. I got things to do, and comments just keep coming in. So, look at those two things right there. If it's just one bird, don't stress about it. Call that bird, or, set it to the side, mark it somehow so you know what it is. Don't incubate the eggs from that bird, pass it on. But if it's multiple birds, then start looking into, issues. Don't stress about it too much. You're always going to have one bird that's weaker, one bird that, it's going to happen from time to time. You're going to have a bird that has wry neck, splay leg, whatever. It's not worth spending hours trying to figure out what's wrong with that one bird. Focus on the stronger birds. That's make your flock stronger in the end. That's my thought on that. But those would be the things I would look at. Hopefully that helps a little bit. So again, sorry for the short, kind of quick. I'm going to get off here. I don't have time for the follow-up on it, but we're already 5 minutes past. So thanks, guys, for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate it. I always look forward to talking to you. Witch Doctor, no, I haven't raised Rex rabbits. Full-size Rex rabbits would make a decent meat rabbit, and they've got the softest fur. It's incredible. But no, I haven't raised them. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to quit looking at comments because I keep talking. Thanks again for hanging out with me for a little while tonight. We should see you guys again next Thursday. I don't see any reason why I can't be here. Looking forward to it already. As always, God bless. Take care.